So guys, I never do videos on Sunday. I really don't. But this urgent emergency news that we just got, I had to do a video on it. So this won't be my fancy edited video. This is just me giving you guys the news of exactly what's going on. So if you guys haven't found out or heard, SVB, which is that Silicon Valley bank, collapsed. It collapsed on Friday, I believe, or Thursday. And the FDIC took over. And when they took over, a lot of people were left, you know, with locked out of their accounts, no deposits, all that other stuff. And so it looked like they were going to fail, like the government was just going to allow them to fail because that's what the government said. The government came out and said, you know what, we're not going to touch and bail these guys out. We're not. And, you know, Silicon Valley Bank is a VC type of bank. Basically, Roku, any startup company will normally bank with them in California, and they provide a lot of risky loans, which are VC equity loans for a lot of startup companies. So they are kind of like this specialty bank. And long story short, they collapsed. So I thought to myself, you know what? Let's see what the government does. If the government is going to bail them out, because we know the government has a weird way of doing the exact opposite that they said they were going to do. And come to find out, on Sunday, today, the Fed comes out and says, we are going to insure all deposits, even the deposits that are $250,000 over. Now, the question is that a bailout? Is that a bailout? And the short answer is 100% it is. They are trying to make you guys believe that, hey, look, we're not bailing out the bank. Why would we bail out the bank? The bank is toast. So we're not bailing them out. We're bailing out the depositors, the individuals that had money in those accounts. We're bailing those guys out. But here is the question, guys. Who were the customers that were in the Silicon Valley Bank? Well, we already know what type of customers were there. It was huge companies, startups, and more than likely, hate to say it, it's true, rich people. It was rich people, right? It's not your everyday American that was banking at Silicon Valley Bank. That's the truth. It wasn't. And it shouldn't come to a shock that, as I'm reading here, the U.S. government steps in and says people with funds deposited at SVB will be able to access their money. And here is the reason why this is so significant, guys. We have the Fed that came out and is saying that we're going to go ahead and protect these guys. And the reason why they're going ahead and doing this is for a couple of reasons. First, a lot of these companies, these startup companies, if they didn't get access to capitals, they would have tons of layoffs. Then you would have, if they can't make payroll and they can't have access to capital that they left in the account that was over $250,000, they would go out of business. So we would have people who couldn't get paid, people getting laid off, and we would have tons of companies, startup companies that would close, go bankrupt. The list goes on and on and on. And so the government is saying, we want to make sure that none of that happens. And on top of that, we want to make sure that this doesn't spread to smaller banks. So what did the government decide to do? They decided to provide easy loans, guys, to banks and credit unions that if there is a run on their bank, that they can get this easy access money at a cheap rate. That's right, you heard me. Banks and credit unions will be able to turn on the printing machine and get loaned money at a really cheap rate. You can't, I can't make this stuff up, guys. I can't make this stuff up. Now, how is this going to affect everything that we've been talking about with the housing market? It's going to be a ripple effect. And even though I'm giving you this news, I still have to process exactly how this is all going to play out, how this is all going to, lay out as far as the housing market. But I can tell you this one thing. I can tell you inflation, once we turn on that printing machine, and even though that the government is saying this won't affect inflation, this won't affect any markets, this will not come out of taxpayer pockets, it is. It is. And they're printing money out of thin air again. And as they print money out of thin air again, we have to see inflation going up, guys. Inflation is going to continue to rise. Continue to rise, guys. So I'm not going to make this video long. I could go long-winded about this, but guys, just pay attention to this stuff. It's unfortunate because I don't think the same energy would have been handled if it was a regular bank with regular people in it. I believe with these huge companies and corporations and individuals that had a high net worth, that's the reason why this bank was saved. And I can promise you this one thing, lines will be very, very, very long on Monday to get their money out of this Silicon Valley. And also too, just to add it, it's just not Silicon Valley that it's extended to. They're also protecting another bank in New York, Signature Bank in New York, $90 billion. As always, please like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. You will not get all of your information from this one video. Please check out this video here. It will give you information about the housing market, financial news, and etc. I promise you the information will be gold. See you in the next one. Thanks.